In today's tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you how to make the showstopper of a beaded bag. This is a glass beaded bag surrounded by fur. You can go ahead and make this bag in any color. It is a very simple tutorial. You can get it done in no time. And this bag uses very low amount of beads. So stay tuned. Do not skip any parts. Watch the entire video to the end. And let's get right into the materials. Hey guys, so these are the materials for today's tutorial. We have our glass plates here. Obviously you need two if you want to know the measurements of everything and how to get yours. I made a video on how to even DIY this yourself. It's up on my channel, so make sure you check out that video. I'll leave the link down in the description box. So we have our glass plate. This is the oval shape. Right here I have my 0.7 fishing line. I have a pair of scissors. I have the fur that I'm going to be needing here. I'm using the black fur. And I have my size 10 beads. Also, you need the back handle. I know you guys know this handle, but I've just taken off the claw end. If you don't know how to take off the claws from your handle, I have a tutorial on how to do that. So I have this handle. You can make a beaded handle. You don't actually need this. You can make a regular beaded handle. And I've got chains here, okay? You don't need it. You can do a beaded chain, long chain handle. And the last thing you need is needle to sew on your fur. Or you can use glue, preferably a glue gun, but I have trust issues when it comes to glue. So for the needle, we are going to be using a beading needle. This is just a regular needle. In the tutorial, it's a beading needle. Right, we are going to get right into the tutorial. So you're going to grab one of your acrylic plate or your glass plate and insert both ends of the fishing lines into two separate holes. We are starting from the top, okay? Insert it in the first two holes on the top. Pick up 3 beads with one end of the fishing line or the fishing line which is facing away from your work, and you're going to cross with the third bead like I show. Then the fishing line which is facing downwards, or the one that which is touching your acrylic plate, you're going to insert it back into the second hole, then back into the third hole, okay? So just watch the motions of my fingers. It's going to form that loop in the front, which is fine. We are just going to continue. Make sure you are pulling your work as hard as you can, but don't break your acrylic plate, okay? Now you're going to pick up 2 beads with the other fishing line, or the fishing line which is on my left. Then I'm going to cross with the second bead like so. Then insert that fishing line back into the third hole, and from under to up the fourth hole, okay? And I'm doing this making sure that I'm pulling my work. This is literally the easiest glass bag design you're ever going to make, and the best part is it uses very few beads, but you're going to come up with a very classy bag. So we are going to continue the pattern. So you pick 2 beads, cross with the second bead, insert it back into the same hole, then you move on to the next hole, okay? Just like that. This is the main pattern basically for the entire bag. Guys, if you walk into a place with this bag, everyone's going to be asking, oh my god, where did you get it, where did you get it? Because it's going to be so unique to you. Very simple to make. You could do it on the same day that you're going for that party, by the way. Yeah, so just continue this pattern. Pick 2 beads, cross the second bead, go into the same hole, then take the fishing line into the next hole, just like that, until we get to the end. So this is row 1 of our bag. This is what it's looking like, okay? So my fishing line is in the hole now. I'm going to insert it into the very next hole, the last hole at the top, so we can finish off. And I'm going to use that same fishing line that I inserted into that next hole, pick up 2 beads, and I'm going to cross with the second bead. So this is going to cause our bead crossing to be at the top instead of at the side. If you notice, from the time we're working, we're crossing and our bead was facing down and up. Now our bead is going to be facing left and right, okay? So it's at the top bead now, and I'm going to take the fishing line on my left, or the one facing away from the work, pick up 3 beads, and I'm going to cross with the third bead. Please make sure you're pulling your work. You don't want your work to be weak. So pick up your 3 beads like so, then you're going to cross with the third bead, just like that. We are starting off row number 2, and this is how it's supposed to look like, just like that. And then we are going to continue with our normal matting method, or the normal beading method, which is the fishing line which is on my right, or the fishing line which is facing the previous row. I am going to insert it into the following bead right there, and then I'm going to pick up 2 beads with the other fishing line, which is the one on my left, and I'm going to cross with the second bead. So pick up 2 beads and you cross with the second bead. Now when you've crossed with that bead, you're going to insert the fishing line on your right, or on my right. Then I'm going to insert into the following bead from the previous row with the other fishing line, which is the one on my left. Pick up 2 beads and I'm going to cross with the second bead, just like that. And I'm pulling my work so that it's nice and firm. Okay, so this is our pattern for basically row number 2. Insert the fishing line into the following bead from the previous row, and then you just do that all around the row. Now you can do this for however many rows you want. I did 2 rows and I repeated the same thing on the other acrylic plate. You could do 3 rows, you could do 4 rows, depending on how big you want your beaded plate to be. Now I'm just joining the plates together and picking up, inserting my fishing line into the bead at the side, picking up 1 bead, then inserting it onto the bead of the other side, like so. We just want to join both plates together. When you've inserted the fishing line to the bead of the other glass plate, you pick up 1 bead and we are going to cross, and this is basically going to help us with the joining of our beaded bag. Okay, so this is what she is going to look like. So you just pull it, and that is a perfect join right there. Right, so we are going to move on. Pick up the fishing line either on your right or your left, insert it into the following bead from the previous rows, like so. Insert it to the bead of the previous row on your right or on one acrylic plate, and you insert the same thing on the left acrylic plate. And then we are going to pick up 1 bead and we are going to cross, just like that. Pick up our 1 bead and we are going to cross with the 1 bead. And this is what your join should be looking like. Please, if you have any questions, let me know down in the comment section, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share this video, like it as well. And if there's any beaded bag you want me to recreate, send me a photo to my Instagram. The link is going to be in the description box. So just continue this joining pattern until you have succeeded in joining the entire bag together. Insert fishing line into both beads on the side, like you see me do, then pick up 1 bead and cross. And we are going to continue this pattern until we join the entire bag, or the 2 pieces together basically. Right, so we are at the end of our joining. So I'm just going to insert one end of the fishing line into the last bead from the previous row. I'm going to pick up 1 bead, then I'm going to insert, using that same fishing line, I'm going to insert that fishing line into the other bead of the other row, so that both fishing lines are going to meet in one spot. And then I am going to tie it to secure our entire bag. Okay, so I'm just going to tie it 2 times is okay. 2 times is just fine, like so. And then you're going to tuck in your fishing line. If you do not know how to tuck in, I have an entire beginner's course on the channel teaching you how to bead, how to tuck in your fishing line. You can go ahead and check it out. The link will be in the description box. So this is what your acrylic bag should be looking like now. Basically, she's naked. You don't want it to be like that. Now I am going to be using a 0.25 fishing line to sew fur to the bag. If you have like these big gemstones, you can go ahead and put them on the bag. Basically we want to sew that fur to cover up those lines of fishing lines which are showing. Okay, so I'm taking one end of that 0.25 fishing line. I'm basically going to tie it. I'm going to take one end and weave it through the bead, then tie it to the other end so that it's going to be nice and secure and I can sew very easily. You're going to notice that the needle that I'm using to do the entire sewing is a very tiny needle. It's a very tiny needle. It's a beading needle, which is a needle that's basically used to make beaded jewelry. You need a very small needle for this because you're going to be inserting your needle into the beads as well. You don't want a very big needle for this. Okay, yeah, so that's why at the beginning I said instead of a big needle, use a small needle. And instead of the 0.25 fishing line, if you have regular thread, you can go ahead and use regular thread to do the sewing. And I'm using 2 strands. Okay, so I've inserted the needle through one bead and into the first hole. And if you are having fur, you're going to notice there's a bone, like a bone or strings in the middle which are very thick. You are going to insert your needle in between those strings in the middle of your fur. Okay, insert it like that. Then you're going to go back. Make sure you're not going back on the same spot. Okay, then you're going to insert your needle into the next hole. We are not remaining on one hole here. You just insert it into the next hole. Okay, right, then I'm going to move into the third hole right away. Then insert my needle, I beg your pardon, into the third hole, then into the bone. So there's a very high possibility that your fur is going to get caught in the fishing line while you're sewing. Just make sure that you remove it. You remove most of the fur so that it doesn't pose any problem. Okay, right, so there's 2 ways basically of sewing this. When you sew on the fur, you can go back into the same hole or you move on to the next hole. It just depends on how fast you want to go and how secure you want to make your fur. If you feel like this is a lot of work, you can get a glue gun, or if you know any strong glue, you can just go ahead and glue this to the bag. But like I said in the beginning, I have trust issues when it comes to glue. I just feel like it's going to come out, and I believe sewing is a more secure method. Okay, so you're just going back and forth into the holes, and you're going to sew this around the entire bag. Okay, around the bag. So this is my bag, looking nice, chic, bougie, okay, all furry and everything like that. And yeah, so this is what she's looking. Now when you do it all around and you get to the end, you're just going to cut off all the excess and tie it. Now for the handle, like I said in the beginning, I have a tutorial on how to remove the claws from this style handle. You don't even need a silver handle, but the handle, you're just going to put your fishing line into the middle bead. Then you're going to insert 3 beads and you're going to pass it through the hole. Okay, I know I didn't show it, that clip basically got lost, let me put it that way. I could not find the clip. Yeah, so I just have 3 beads right there. Then I tied it to the main body of the bag, and our bag is done. You can go ahead and put a pouch, which if you want to learn how to hand sew your pouch into your bag, the tutorial is going to be on the channel. It's already on the channel. I'm going to leave the link in the description box. And this is how she's looking. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.